Hello and welcome to part 4 of Masquerada Songs and Shadows. Let's continue with the game, shall we? Where we're trying to get in touch with the mask runners.
What is this about?
No greetings, even?
Stop wasting my time.
All right. I want you to be a part of this investigation.
What?
You have expertise that my team is lacking.
This is not a good idea.
I can pay you 1,000 crescents.
You don't have that kind of money.
I will once I finish my job, with your help. Amadea, what is stopping you? Mascherines, the blood of the city. This is our chance to find out where they came from. For centuries, the histories of the land have been enigmatic. For the first time, that curtain is being lifted.
Fine.
Really?
Do you want me to back out now?
No. This is good. Thank you.
Now, where are we going?
Toth, found us a place yet?
Yes, we did.
We think you'd be most pleased with it, sir.
Well, let's hope you're right. So, what fruits have your search yielded?
It's a place called the Estiguary, sir.
Is it crowded?
Not at all, sir. In fact, the place is practically barren, save the people who own it.
The owner said the war's done a toll, but he's more than willing to house us for the night. For as long as we want, in fact.
Generous. How much is he asking?
He said it depends on who we bring back.
Of course he did. I wouldn't put my trust in anyone who didn't hold a bargain.
I'm glad you think so, sir. We're just arriving.
Tides. That's...
Beautiful.
All right, Ricardo. I hereby promise never to rat you out.
Sir, we'll go in and tell the owner that you're here. We'll be right back.
I don't understand. This is too beautiful to be so... empty.
The owner was telling us that the people of the city forgot about it ever since the war started. In the first year of the war, the road that led here was frequented by mask runners.
Makes sense that people stopped coming.
What a pity.
I'm not shedding any tears. The more space we have to ourselves, the better, I say.
He's ready for you, sir.
Amadea Invidious, part 4. Ever since meeting her, I've yet to be unsurprised by her actions. First, she exhibits traits and mannerisms one would expect from a member of the Diechia, or however it's pronounced, Diechia. Next, she proclaims a great interest in the Dementicata and the history, but yet refuses to come with us even at the prospect of learning some of the greatest mysteries about them. After that, she makes it clear that all it required for her to come aboard the Venetian was promise a little wealth and a drop of aggression. There's only one kind of character that I've come to recognise as display characters as inconsistent as these, one with a shredded psyche who is adrift, torn between a past perhaps and a crippling prospect of the future. Or perhaps we know nothing about her, and she has her own motivations as a complete human being. Just a thought. I suspect she's lost herself somewhere in her history, and now she spends her days wandering around with a proper compass to guide her. Cases such as this are all too common in Umber, where so many in for second chances or a new lease on their lives. Many think severing the ties of the worlds in which they once lived is an effective way of moving on from a tragedy or coping with a loss. I know this, for I speak from experience. Travelling through Garley Plains was my chance to start afresh. I believe the more I tried to cut the past of my head, the more it shaped me, defined me, paralysed me. I turned to spirits and wines as relief and mentioned dark areas of the mind that I'd rather not recount. I see hints of a similar situation in her. I'm not intending to bring her along so I can act as a counsellor, but if I might be able to provide a relief of some sort, the path I want to tread on is a path I'd like to see no others journeying on. The Stiguary, located in the Source of Shadows, the border between the light of the sun and the shadow of the mountain that moves across the city as the day progresses. The Stiguary is an establishment that belongs to a good friend of mine, Leventhos Marimbus. I'd never seen it before my return to Umber. I am more familiar with the Leaping Lion, Leventhos' previous inn, but I must say that the Stiguary's facade is appropriately reflective of the owner's personality. Despite being in the centre of a dark city, the Stiguary remains beautiful and warm. Leventhos is very much the same, although he lives in the city of shadows and steps and let none of them into his heart. And I do apparently have some that I haven't read, but it's not always clear which they are. So, let's head inside and meet the owner that we don't know is the owner now, but we do know the owner because of the other thing.
All right. Let's see.
Cicero?
Hello, Ven.
Wait.
You know each other.
What? I don't believe it.
How have you been?
I should be asking you that question, you rascal. Why didn't you tell me you were bringing him?
We didn't know that.
Well, why don't the lot of you find some rooms that suit you? As you can tell, the entire place is basically yours.
About that, Ven. The twins were saying something about price.
Ha! Cicero, please. What do you think I am? The kind of man who swindles his friends? No, that treatment is reserved for the dastardly. You stay here for free.
Ven, I can't.
I insist.
And I insist not. You will take something, or I'm afraid I'm going to have to walk out.
All right. But remember, you insisted. Now, please, the...
Ages, Lucia. You had me worried.
Is this a bad time? I was out in the Pale Isle when I saw you leave the spire. I hope you don't mind that I followed you. I thought it'd be prudent for me to offer an apology.
The rest of you, call it a night. Get a room, get comfortable. I'm certain Leventhos over here can get you all settled in.
Definitely. We won't disturb. Promise.
All right. About suggesting that Avestus call you back, Cicero,
You can pay me back by telling me all you know about the mask runners.
Sorry?
Come on, you're hard of hearing now. You said you were investigating them, yes?
Unbelievable. All right. Over drinks?
Sounds like a plan. So, first things first. This herald.
We're in Act 2 now.
Fractured.
Lucius says that ever since the War of Barons began, the mask runners have been fragmenting, returning back to their factions, the way things were before my brother.
And which faction has Razatov?
They call themselves the Dactytes. They're the ones we met at the Quiet Order.
Led by the Herald.
Exactly.
And what do you plan to do?
Find this herald and get Razatov back. Simple as that.
I'm sure
There you
it'll be that
are.
easy. Yeah.
Is she the result of the cleaver?
Result?
How did you find us?
I returned to the White Spire this morning. Inspectori Lucia was there. Apparently, she'd been here for most of last night.
Can't hide forever.
Marshal, this is Armadea. She'll be lending us her expertise in the Dementicate.
You've spoken to her of the artifacts, then?
We have.
So, what are they? What do they do?
We're not entirely sure yet. Our leads in the Cleaver were destroyed.
What are your plans now?
We need to get Razatov back from the Mask Runners, a faction of them called the Dactytes to be specific, and we're going to do that by finding the Herald, their leader.
Direct. How refreshing. And how do you intend to find this herald?
By finding Lysandra Rorik.
What?
The leader of the Mask Runners.
Make a distinction, Marshal. Lysandra leads the Melakate. They're not the Mask Runners with Razatov.
Just tell me which groups I should be taking note of.
The first, the Dactytes, a new faction led by the Herald who have Razatov. The second, what remains of the Melakate, led by Lysandra, my brother's second in command.
And you want to find her because you believe she can lead us to the Herald?
Yes, and Lucia concurs.
Inspectori, those are mask runners you're talking about associating yourself with.
We're not colluding with them. We just need information.
They are fugitives of the law.
If you have another suggestion on how we should find Razatov, please, I'm all ears.
I hope you know what you're doing.
That's a
To
reasonable
find
hope.
her, Lucia has suggested that we turn to a character called the Bloodless.
I suppose that is a smart move.
No.
Lucia didn't tell me very much about the man.
He is a man without honor.
He is a smart man of the Laboris Solus who recognizes the power of information and secrets. If there is anyone that can track a person down in the city, it is him.
The Luca have spent years attempting to locate this man. He's crossed more than a few of my guild's boundaries.
Note that we are not here to tend to the Golden Guild's interests.
You might not be.
You think Fabio will be happy with you stopping this investigation just to catch one man?
Oh, fine. I will not act against him.
I do not trust him.
Calden.
I am sorry, Cicero, but there are entities in this city that I do not wish to be involved with.
For the sake of your brother, even?
Low blow. Low blow.
As long as I don't ever have anything to do with him.
And how do you intend to establish contact with this enigma?
You seem to know a thing or two about him.
I've worked with one of his messengers before, Vasco Tessitore. He's often found in a tavern called the Bleeding Beetle. That is our best bet.
Then what are we waiting for?
I like that Tiziana doesn't wait about. Oh, lots of new information. Okay, so the Herald's our best lead, but we need information about him. So we're going to try and get it. Colden. His response to the Bloodless has been unkind at best, savage at worst. What is about the information that provokes him so? It must be whatever he's keeping from me. I shall see if I can sieve out any further details. Tiziana. So the first lie has been fed. I cannot let her know that we've discovered the functions of the artifacts that Razatov searches for. She knows that they have the ability to create Mascherines. That will only advance and hasten Luca's involvement. The Golden Guild needs to be kept out of this for as long as possible. I'm not unfamiliar with the toxic rewards for a leap from a ride soda. How quickly and violently deception can destroy acquaintances if left to fester. I expect she'll not be the least bit pleased when or if she finds out we've been keeping this info from her. But again, I cannot let that interfere with the advancement of the investigation. You do what you must, Marshal, and so will I. I do feel like this game would be improved by giving you choices about some of this stuff, even if they don't actually materially change the flow. They just change a little bit of the dialogue or something. It would allow you to shape your character more. Because, frankly, we're not a very nice person. And I would prefer to be a nicer person.
What do you want?
You seem troubled.
To tick off all the
I stick with you for one day, and already I'm part of plans to venture into the darkest parts of the city. Masquerades, the Bloodless.
It is often in the shadows do secrets hide. And we are chasing big secrets.
What do you think the city will be like once we find Razatov and the artifacts?
Well, Mascherines will no longer be scarce, which means the fundamental threads that our society has been woven from will change. And that even begins to affect our world. The guilds might not even need to exist. The titles of Contadani and Masquerada might cease to mean anything. I really don't know.
I suppose we'll find out.
Just a piece of info, right?
Ven, are you still interested in that hobby of yours? Collecting stones and fine metals and all that?
I haven't changed that much.
Well, have a look at this, please, and tell me all you can of it.
What is it?
I was hoping you could tell me. I have a feeling it's got at least a few, special properties.
I'll do some tests and measurements and get back to you about it when you return.
One last thing. Don't tell the Marshal about it, if you could.
My lips are sealed.
Leventhus Marimbus. Difficult to talk about Leventhus without smiling. He's truly a joy to be around. Many who know me know that Leventhus has been a large part of my life. long, 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 long thing. But basically, we know this guy, we like him. I'm just going to check if there's anything upstairs. There is.
Sure you don't want to come?
Yes.
He's going to help us find your brother, you know.
Then I'll be glad when he does.
I'll see you later, then.
Just checking there's nothing else. There isn't. Good. We'll run back downstairs and leave then. We've ticked off all of the interactable circles. Which is, you know, that's basically the limit of the choices you get to make. Woof. So the Dactytes are a relatively new faction. Yeah, not really worried about them. More interested in what it has to say about the Bloodless, part 1. So we're going to suppose it's finally time the Shallow Zumba coalesce into an entity. The other countries all have Masters of Secrets for a while already. Some more publicly known as others. It's a pity the Bloodless hadn't made an appearance some years earlier. I imagine a substantial number of my cases have been made much simpler had I this reportedly well-informed character to turn to. Yeah, but on the other hand, he can share information about what you're doing. Is that something you want? Okay, there's another gameplay note somewhere, apparently. The very first one. And J for case notes, day 2. Never enjoyed writing in loose sheets. Leatherbound journals have always been my preferred medium. I'm going to commit this investigation. This is where my thoughts will go. A brief summary of the investigation thus far. Rezatov has been captured by mask runners while researching the origins of Mascherines and how they are created. His investigation sent him in search of 3 artifacts responsible for the creation of Mascherines called the Heart, the Seed and the Knife. Collectively they are known as the That Word. In the Cleaver, we learn that he knew where to find these artifacts, but our leads ended there. There are a few other loose ends that need to be wrapped up as well. There was a stone in Razatov's office, and we've yet to understand its purpose or function. Also, he'd been looking at the creation of Fae, but what that has to do with anything is unclear. Our next major step in the investigation is finding a figure called the Herald, leader of the Dactytes, the group who've taken Razatov. To do that, we're going to need to go to an information broker, spelt wrong, it's got broken, called the Bloodless. Hopefully, he can tell us directly of the Herald and where to find him, but in the case that he cannot, he should at least be able to lead us to Lysandra, leader of the Malachate, the remnants of the Masquerada faction that my brother led. My discomfort with the Masquerada has not gone away in the least, but I cannot let that stand in the way of my duty.
Where did you go?
Don't be stupid.
You've seen how he is. He's a good man, Elena.
Even good men have standards.
I hope you're not talking about me.
Sir,
Sir, we were just...
nothing.
You were just nothing? Well, if that's really the case...
We'd like to practice the Visiper, sir.
Brother!
Both of you?
I apologize, sir, my brother.
Let him speak.
Yes, the both of us, sir. Meliari for myself and Messaniari for my sister.
Well, if you want to practice the Visiva, you're going to need a piece of equipment from a Masquerada, aren't you?
Yes, sir, but we understand if you don't want to do this. After all, we have nothing to our name and no credentials.
Will this do?
Sir.
That's not an answer.
What? It would do fantastically, sir. There's enough space for the inscriptions involved in Meliare.
And the blade is more than enough to paint on. Are you sure, sir?
Well, the worst that can happen is I get an ugly blade back, isn't it?
All right, just a minute, sir. We'll do some basic forms.
So is this the...
Now, a moment of truth. The energies do flow smoother.
It worked, brother.
I don't believe it. Thank you, sir.
Well, if there's anything more I can do...
Sigils, sir. Anything that has complicated Dementicate symbols. I'd like to try my hand at the more complex workings.
I'll keep an eye out. And you, Elena?
If you could find plants of the more exotic variety, I could use their dyes. A larger palette drastically alters the effects of Messaniare.
I'll bring back anything I can find. Now, hold on. Since you're both trained in the Viscera,
We might actually
Do
be
you
able to
think you can
update
handle
my
this?
Mascherines.
We're all Mascherines.
I don't intend on getting bogged down with the documentation if I have to go through the registry's artisan to get these touched up.
Sir, this is basic work. We can get these up to scratch in no time.
Good. Until then, however, we have business to attend to.
Where, sir?
An establishment called the Bleeding Beetle. You know of it?
It's one of our favourite haunts, sir.
Excellent. Off we go then.
New engraving obtained. Upgrade with the toes. New ink obtained. So that's how this stuff works. Speaking to twins outside the astiguary will allow you to equip the various inks and engravings you find. In order to harness the effects of either an ink or engraving, one must prepare the other. The chosen engraving increases the character's base damage, while at the same time determine the probability auto attack will trigger the effects of the chosen ink. So we've just got one ink, which is restores 2% mass charge, and one engraving, which is plus 25% damage and 20% proc chance, whatever that is. I mean, we can possibly do other people as well, but I'll leave it as is for now.
Inspetore, if you don't mind me asking, you're awfully familiar with the owner of the tavern.
He was a close friend of my family's when I was younger. Before I joined the portieri, he shared his purse with us. Helped us get through rough times.
That's sweet.
And naive. Most Contadani can't even fend for themselves. What sense is there in sharing?
What sense is there in not keeping everything to yourself? What's the use?
Ah, the stone-cold girl finally shows a sliver of a heart.
It just doesn't make sense.
The street to get you to the Bleeding Beetle's down this way, sir. Too small for the coach.
We'll be waiting for you here, whenever you're done.
So while I'm thinking about it, can I now actually do? I can't do anything yet with these. Maybe I have to do that back at the... blah, blah, blah. There's a... So, after they asked me to allow them to practice visit, how could I say no? Certainly there's an obvious reason that I now have a artigiani and a fabric at my disposal. It's much more than that. But even as I write this, I chide myself for being a sentimentalist. A pair of young twins out to chase their dreams. It's all very flowery. But basically, yeah. It is both a nice thing to do and a sensible thing to do to work with them. So, yeah, I mean, the taverns such as the Bleeding Beetle are not uncommon. The favourite haunts of Contadani are those simply visiting from other nations. Lack of Masquerada that come is easily explained. Taverns such as this are for the poor and the rowdy. A few Masquerada would dine to show themselves
It's
here.
just ahead. That's him, the one with the flute.
He's good.
Among the city's best. We should get closer.
By the ages.
What do you see?
There, over by the side. That man with the guards. That's Isander Urshel. He's the leader of the Salt Breeders. one of the smaller Mascherines factions that existed before the war. Apparently, they're still around.
I've heard of them. Getting Contadani addicted to stone swords, then charging exorbitantly. They've practically robbed hundreds of families of their stability.
And nothing's been done about it.
And nothing will be done. Not today, at least. Remember who we're here for.
Thank you, thank you.
He's getting away.
Marshal, don't do anything.
You, stay where you are.
What are you doing?
What? Protect me.
Oh, great.
Justice will blind you.
What in all the legacies do you think you're doing?
That man is Isander.
I know who he is, damn it. He has a contract on his head, for blood's sake.
You mean that?
Forget it. I see you're with Ombrian. You're here for the Bloodless?
Yes.
Then you will listen to me. Isander is a large man, with a love for large spaces. He will not take any of the alleyways, and neither will you.
What do you mean by?
You will follow him, chase him, and he will send his guards to stop you. Be a dear and take care of them for me.
What do you do?
Slip through the shadows. If you do your job right and keep him running down the wide street, I'll be able to take care of him once he's alone. I repeat, alone. That means...
No guards, we get it.
Good. Then go before you lose him.
La 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 la. Like, you know, there's a thing here to click on, so why would I not click on it? Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be chasing the guy, but I doubt it makes any difference. This does not seem like the kind of game where it would.
Stop! There's 3 of them. We can take them on. Protect me. We've got this.
Now there's 5 of us because I've got a summoning ability.
Don't let him get away! Stop! I can't run. We have to fight!
For the light!
There, ahead. Going somewhere? Well, Lysander. You've been a tough rat to catch.
I did nothing wrong.
Oh, how entertaining the words of the ignorant can sometimes be. You consider ruining the lives of hundreds of Contadani nothing wrong.
They came to me for the salt. They wanted it. I never forced it on them.
No. You simply lied to them. Told them it was medication. And then you watched their lives fall apart in front of you as you grew fat upon their innocence.
I won't do it again. You have my word. I'll give them back the money, I swear.
A kind offer. How unlike you, Lysander.
People change.
Go then. The Laboris will keep its ear out for you. If we hear that you have not been true to your word.
Hunt me again, I'll say.
A fair deal. Off you go then. Now, time for the real show.
Think you can threaten me?
So much cleaner for the heart when they fall upon their own blade, wouldn't you say?
You knew he was going to try that.
Of course I did. Stick around in my vein of work long enough, and you learn that people like that never change. But the lot of you clearly haven't been in this vein for very long.
Silence, bloodling.
And you are in a position to say such a thing. You who ruined the entire plan.
As if you even had a plan. You're nothing but...
Lysander Urshel is a man of habit and a man of fine hearing. After every strong performance he witnesses, he retreats to his abode in the dim way, intent on scribing out the music. This is the only time you will ever catch him without his guards, the time when his neck is most ripe for the cutting. So yes, O Golden One, I had a plan. But come, enough talk of the dead. You've helped me clear a contract. I suppose introductions are at least necessary? My name is Vasco Tessitore, bloodling of the Laboris Salis.
And I?
Inspectore Cicero Gavar of the Registry, Amadea Invidius, initiate of the Dieci Sovrani, and Lumbering Cow, mistake of the Luca Infinita.
How dare you!
Hold, Marshal. We've come with a purpose. Do not forget that. We need to speak with the Bloodless.
I'd guessed as much when I saw Amadea with you. Though I am curious to ask, such strange company you're keeping, my dear.
Well, the winds of change are blowing strong.
And the paths of the supple carried along. I see. Well...
Oh, don't stop there.
I'm sorry?
Certainly you'll not quote one half of the song without the other. The branches of death lull to its beat,
and in their wake do the sleepers weep. Oh, truly, what a choice of companion, Amadea.
You know the song?
My brother taught it to me, yes. It seems you've forgotten who I am.
I'm afraid I had.
Excuse me, what is going on?
Nothing, Marshal. Just exchanging words about an old ditty. But enough of that. I'm sure we'll have more time to talk later, yes?
Of course.
We'll head back to the Estiguary. We can all speak a little bit more then. A question, Bloodling, before we talk business.
Aye, sir?
You sing songs and tell tales of the lives of others, yes?
That I do. I also eat and drink and sometimes sleep.
Have you ever heard of a young boy who went by the name of Javs before? His mother had been a dirge in the Laboris as well. Talia Victus.
Not names that chime in my memory, no. Why?
It sounds strange, but you remind me a little of him.
He must be quite the fetching man.
Oh, if he were alive, perhaps.
Oh. I'm sorry to hear that.
It has been enough years for that wound to close. Forget I ever brought it up.
My, what a beauty. Already you're taking me to the good places in Spatore.
Marshal, if you'd watch him. I don't want him breaking anything inside.
Does that include his face?
Why didn't you tell me earlier?
What did you expect me to say? Hello, I was a mask runner. I hope you don't mind.
When you use mask runner code phrases in front of me, that's basically what you're saying anyway. Why did you suggest the Bloodless? Surely you know where Lysandra is.
It's been years since I left the Malacate. He's the best lead we have.
Why did you leave?
Reasons.
All right, I won't pry.
What?
Most of the time when people ask why I left the city, I usually feel like introducing them to my fist, so... Yes, I understand if you don't want to talk about it. Besides, it's not why you're here anyway.
You're right. It's not.
What? We'll continue this another time.
Enough, Mariner.
What's going on?
Ah, Inspectore. Perhaps you can be of assistance in this matter.
Why did you bring him back here?
We are to speak to him in the privacy of our lodging. I see no issue with that.
Honestly, neither do I.
Do not speak to me of honesty. You work for the Bloodless. You don't even understand the word.
Kaldin, what is wrong with you?
With me, this man is a tool the Bloodless has used to spread his tides of corruption through the city. Why do you bring him into this house?
To get your brother back. Now sit. We are having civil conversation.
I'm exciting, I know.
Now is not the time for glibness.
All right. The Bloodless has numerous contracts, each with varying difficulty. It is my task to judge which contract is worthy of the price you demand.
2 questions are all we wish to ask.
Ask away.
I do not believe you should be privy to these questions.
Agreed. Your tongue is far too loose to trust.
Ha! Understand this, if nothing else. I have not survived as an agent of the Bloodless by dancing through the streets, tongue-wagging. If this discussion is to progress any further, you must first pay me with trust.
The first step into the mire.
Silence, Mariner! You are seated in the quiet chair. You are not allowed to speak unless you come and sit at the speaking table. Rules of civilized conversation. So, what shall it be then, Inspectore?
We wish to ask him the following questions.
Cicero!
Chair!
The mask runners have a figure in their ranks they call the Herald. Where can we find him?
All right. And?
Where can we find Lysandra Rorick?
For those 2 questions, I have a contract in mind. Perhaps the Mariner would like to be here to hear it in its entirety?
I can hear you fine from here.
Fine. It is a matron.
What?
I can hear you fine from here.
Explain yourself.
Did someone say something?
Explain.
The contract has been placed on the matron of the Withering Mast.
Matron Beneva?
The Withering Mast is a ward of the Sorelle known for taking in single mothers with little hope left in the world.
And in doing so has only helped dozens of mothers and their families.
No. She has abused the women, plunged them into a life of prostitution. Their children are not spared that fate. There are some in this city that would pay heavy crescents for a child.
Liar.
You do well to understand how seriously the Laboris take their contracts, Mariner. If the intelligence says that she is guilty, be assured that you will find no evidence otherwise.
And if we fulfill this contract, the Bloodless will meet us?
The Bloodless will give you your answers. Yes.
She is a matron of the Sorelle, Cicero. A matron of my guild. I need to see for myself if this is true. I'm going.
No. You have a vested interest in this, Mariner.
But I...
And seeing another Sorelle asking about her ward, it'll raise flags, don't you think?
Oh, you're right. I'll take along 2 of the others. Any more and it'll be suspicious.
We'll await your decision downstairs then.
Quite a temper back there.
The man brings dark tides, and I do not like it.
What do you have against him?
Some burdens are better borne on the shoulders of many. Mine are not such burdens. But I appreciate the thought.
Razatov is somewhere out there, and I need your mind on this. Fully. I can see dark clouds in your eyes. You are drifting from this investigation. I don't want that. Whatever these burdens of yours are, if you ever think sharing them might help...
The others are waiting for you.
Just remember my offer.
He's still unwilling to divulge his secret. I've come to trust his intentions. Whatever he's keeping isn't likely to harm me, that much I'm certain. But I remain uncomfortable that I don't have the full picture. Dirge is quite the character. Rarely in my life comes across someone who manages to be so flippant yet so deliberate, so full of life yet so unhesitant to deal death. I find that he's dancing along the spectrum of personalities, has landed on bad terms with half those I work with. The mariner seems to hold something against him, and the marsh with the seriousness might just be the antithesis of a man. If I intend on keeping him around, and I might, for his cheer, if not his usefulness, I'm going to need some way to resolve these budding conflicts. On another note, I feel like before bringing this up, I can't help reminded an old friend of mine every time I look at him. It's more than their runic ethnicity. There's something about the way he carries himself that reminds me of Javs. I cannot afford to be distracted by the resemblance. We have work to do. Yeah, new people.
Cicero! Ven was telling me we had a special guest.
Livia! I missed you last night.
I was out with Damien. We had some errands to run. Shopping for Seiho's sojourn. It's tomorrow, after all.
Damien?
Oh, Cicero. It's been that long, hasn't it?
I'm afraid I'm missing something.
Cicero, meet Damien Marimbus, our son.
Pa, is this...
That's him, all right.
Wow. Pleasure, sir. A real pleasure.
What awful stories has your father told you about me?
Oh, awful? You're kidding, sir. Nothing short of amazing they are.
Oh, Ven.
I speak the truth. What can I say?
I'm sorry for taking your time, Cicero. You're busy, I'm sure. And we have preparations to make for the festival, but it was nice seeing you again.
And you as well, Livia. You won't be going off from here anytime soon, will you?
No, we'll be seeing you around, Cicero. Don't worry.
Excellent. Then until next time.
Right, lots of extra stuff. So Livia is a shining star in the City of Shadows. I doubt I'll ever run into someone with the heart as genuine as she. Having spent the first decade of life in Rune, she was brought up in that culture, had to learn to adjust the ways of Umber when she migrated here. From the account she's told me that process was difficult, not least because she had to worry about guarding herself against Masquerada. Her accent was heavy back then and she knew she'd make an easy target if people found out she wasn't native. So she learned by eavesdropping. Okay, that's just Isander, who I don't really care about. He's just a bad guy. And then there was Damien, I guess, somewhere. Okay, yeah, so they've had a kid. Right.
So, found anything?
I wasn't able to do very much without the proper tools. Livia's got them from the market, though, so I'll be able to conduct further tests now, but nothing so far.
Well, if you do find anything, let me know, all right?
Of course.
More exposition. Can this be? Can't be decorated yet. Apparently. This is a shame. I do have character upgrades potentially. 2 points left on Cicero. Not really worried about that. Water Blade, so I can get more range on Water Blade. I use it a lot, seems like a plan. Increase his damage reduction, seems like a plan. Increase her damage reduction, seems like a plan. Amadeus already at full. Upgrade her. And we've got Vasco Tessitori. So his ability, signature attack, powerful shot, that is 15. Blast of air. Channel spirits. Seemed like fun. What else has he got? Force fields. This is focus ability 1. When we move the regiment, they reduces all skill downs, reduces threat. That'll do nicely. Oh no, these are upgradable. I think everyone's now fully spent. Okay, cool. Upgraded everybody.
Amadea.
Not now.
I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to ask about how you knew the bloodling.
Same thing.
You met him as a mask runner?
I thought you said you weren't going to talk about it.
I just need to know if we can trust him.
We can.
All right. If you say so.
So she was here. She was a mask runner. That'll explain her hesitation at joining the investigation. But it might also suggest why she did join us. Her story of the mask runners might have come to an end, yet there's a sort of part of it that seeks closure. Strangely, I'm not uncomfortable with this. The fact that she is/was a mask runner means something to me. That she's part of my brother's legacy, perhaps. I understand I must give her the space she needs and she's ready to talk about this, but I do look forward to having a chance to talk to her about it. Do I have any other things? Gameplay one.
So, how is Fabio taking the news?
He doesn't plan to stand in your way, if that's what you mean. He's as interested in the nature of them as we are.
Do you think you'll say the same once we find out what they actually do?
You ask when you already know the answer.
Right. I was just hoping, I suppose.
Look forward, Inspectore. We have work to do.
On the bright side, it seems Luca won't be getting away with the investigation just yet. They're playing their hand well, biding time till the stakes get high and preparing to swoop in for the kill. I must be more vigilant regarding the information I pass along to Tiziana. Her loyalties remain unswayed, and she remains a potential threat to my progress. Well, perhaps if you were more honest with her, her loyalties would change. Just a thought.
Settled in already, I see.
It's quite the lovely place you have, really. And quite the motley crew as well.
Don't I know it?
It's not every day you see drops of colours in such close proximity. Golds and blues and browns. Makes me wonder, though, what strange reasons glue this lot together?
Perhaps if you do your job, you might find out.
Yes, of course. We'd best get on with it then, no?
So, I can see both these masks, but I can't do anything with them yet. Okay, you can enter the training grounds. All that lets me do is, I can set everybody's, but what does the training grounds do? Okay, you can select a party. No, we'll worry about that later.
Here we go, sir. All touched up.
New Mascherines. Ah, there you go. Okay, so it's per person. So for us, we've got absolute 0, chilling wave that freezes nearby enemies, stunning them for 4 seconds, placing water tag. Channels the power of water, increasing the caster's attack speed by 20. Cast an aura that taunts nearby enemies. I don't see that I really want any of those. Like, I've very rarely actually triggered these, and that seems like the best of them. Vote the power of water, giving all allies 50% damage reduction. Taunt all enemies. No, don't see the value of doing that either. Don't have any nuance for her. Don't have any nuance for her. Don't have any nuance for him. So, yeah, not interested in the others yet.
Where to, sir?
A Sorelle ward. The Withering Mast.
I'm going to take those two, I think. I think these two work together, actually. See if that helps.
It's rather curious that we're traveling to a Sorelle ward without our Sorelle.
There are some times when familiarity is less than wanted.
Now is one of those times?
Unfortunately so.
Even the best of the guilds still has shadows, doesn't it?
We'll be here, sir.
All right, this is it.
An inspectore. It is rare to see a member of the White Spire in a blue ward. It is brave of you to come.
It is only brave if there is a reason to be afraid.
And there isn't, of course. My name is Matron Beneva.
And mine you needn't know.
Ah, of course. I understand. Well, I shouldn't keep you too long then. It seems the lot of you have a purpose here. I'd best leave you to it.
I'm surprised she didn't recognize you.
Whatever it is, we need to find evidence of what she's up to. The women here should be able to tell us more. Excuse me, miss. Have you a moment to spare?
What do you want?
My name is Cicero.
Sable.
And your child?
Why are you here, Inspectore?
Do you spend all your afternoons at this table?
Some. Others I spend in my room.
In those days that you spend out here, what do you do exactly? I do not see very many things for one to busy oneself with.
The comfort of peace and solitude. The nursing hall sometimes gets noisy. Sasha doesn't sleep well there.
That is considerate.
Of course. I would do anything for my daughter.
Truly?
If you have an answer that you are attempting to goad out of me, ask the right questions.
You are a direct woman.
There is no room in this world for subtlety. When you need to survive, you cannot spare thoughts for the game of questions. You ask, you answer, you move on, and treasure the moments in between.
Is that what life is like in here? Ask, answer, move on? To the next question, the next meeting, the next customer?
You are just like them.
Sable, please.
You're not an inspectore. You're a beast.
You are mistaken. I have not come here to...
Sable? Again? If the matron learns that you are displeasing our guests...
It is all right, Sorelli. There is no issue here.
Well, if there is anything, Inspectore, anything at all, I will be right over there.
You have spirit. Your daughter has been very quiet.
You said that I was mistaken. Prove it. Tell me you are not of their kind.
I am not. By all the ages, you have my word in my heart.
Then help me. Please.
Your daughter?
Beneva.
Lost legacies.
Will you help me, Inspectore?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Then follow me. Everything is fine, Asha. Just fine. Oh, and Asha, would you please let Divina know that my room is looking a little lonely at the moment?
A few people have strength that Sable does. Living in the city without opportunity is one thing, thrust in position of which your freedom is stripped from you is another. Despite all, she's proven herself persistent. There's a fire in here that's yet to be put out, and I'm glad we arrived in time to receive her assistance.
Sable, what is going on here?
Routine, Inspectore.
Cicero, please. I'm not acting within the authority of the registry. Not now.
Cicero. The women in this banco are put on rotation. Every 10-day we must meet our quota of customers, and only then can we see our babes again. In the meantime, we are given that to remind us of why we must work. When we have our darlings back, they lock us in a room beneath the ground until our names appear on the roster again.
It will change, Sable. Now, I came with 2 others. I need...
It has been settled. Ah, Divina. Pleasure you could join us.
Cicero? What?
If this plan goes wrong, she will not have to lie when she tells them she was no part of it. She and her babe will be safe. I did not hit her hard, so we don't have much time. The passage to the chambers beneath are down the hall. Beneva keeps those who are not on duty on the first level beneath the earth.
But there are more levels beneath.
When we are on duty, she takes our babes and descends further. I don't know what awaits us beyond. I've never been deeper myself. Now, let's go.
Right, so we're going to kill some horrible, horrible people in the next bit. But I think that's where I'll leave it off. We'll save, murderizing a whole bunch of people for next time. Yep, so we've gained the assistance of one of the messengers. Vasco has informed us if we indeed desire the Bloodless's assistance. We need to do this thing, which I'm going to be quite happy to do, given what's going on here. So, yep. Next time I come back, we will murder some slavers, basically, because that's effectively what they are doing here. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and catch you next time.